really run the fences well with this particular package. He doesn't know whether they're going to run the third groove, whether the bottom's going to be more of an opportunity. He thought he had the championship one running the bottom last year before that late yellow came out. So you just don't know where you're going to need to run. And we also see guys, even this far into the season, missing the boat or missing the setup on just how much downforce and drag to have in the car, right? There's sort of this guesswork that the crew chiefs make. And even now, over the last, even through the playoffs, they've all said, like, I really
The
don't
Athletics
know
are looking for their
exactly
fifth
what I
straight
need to
victory.
do and how I need to prepare
Hello,
this
everyone.
car
I'm Dwayne
to follow
Kuiper along with
the
Mike Krukow for
so when
EA
they show up to
Sports
the racetrack,
MVP Baseball.
Some of them don't have quite
And
as
now
much
here's
downforce
today's
as they
starting
hoped
pitcher,
or thought
Dan
they
Meyer.
needed. Some have too much.
Today's
and
game
can't
features
run,
the Boston Red
don't have
Sox
short-run
and the
speed.
Oakland
And
Athletics.
so it just depends whether the crew chiefs make the proper decisions on how much drag and downforce is in the car.
Dirksen is the next hitter.
On top of that, that's going to determine your long-run speed, your short-run speed. How does the race play out? Do you get that late yellow that's going to favor that short-run car? Do you not get that late yellow that's going to favor that long-run car? It just really is hard to guess on who's going to be good. All four teams are amazing. There's no underdog that snuck into this Final Four. All four of these teams are stout, and they've all won multiple races this year. So one of the most competitive Final Four I think we've ever had in the series.
What has surprised you or made you the most proud about your junior motorsports drivers this season? That question from Andrew on YouTube.
Obviously, the win this past weekend by the 7 team and Justin Allgaier and Jason Burdett and that crew just stepping up when they had to, getting the job done, taking advantage of some issues with Christopher Bell, who's been dominant all year long, going out there and winning when they needed to win. And we haven't won all year long. We had a great year last year with a lot of wins, no wins this year. Very frustrating. It was weighing on Justin and it was frustrating those guys. So to be able to get a win going into Homestead creates a lot of good morale, positivity. That goes a long way this week as these guys work on this race car and get ready to go to Homestead. And so also Michael Annett. A lot of people, everybody pretty much, but only a few people know exactly how much work Michael's put into this year and how much change that he's had in his own life, his personal life, and how he takes care of himself physically, how he's helped himself emotionally, and how he's really refocused his energy on his racing. I know what Michael's capable of, and I've seen that when he was driving for Richard Petty Motorsports back in the Xfinity Series many, many years ago. He had a really, really solid year, top 10 in points, many top 10s and top 5 finishes, and I feel like we're a better company that should be able to provide him with better cars and give him a better opportunity to exceed those results and have a career year if he would actually take the time to focus and study and train and put in the work needed. He did this year. He put in the work needed. He's got a great team and a great crew chief around him to motivate him, and the results were there. You know, there's times when I want to shake him, grab him by the shoulders and go, come on, man, you know, seize this moment. Here you are. This is your year, you know, your best opportunity. I felt like at Kansas I was just a little frustrated. They had the opportunity to get tires late in the race, and they had 20 lap better tires than everybody else, and I'm thinking, drive up here and win this race. This is the moment. Lock yourself into the Final Four. He ended up finishing in the top 5 and not really being able to get the win, and so I was like, damn, that was it. That was Annette's chance, right? And but he had another good race this weekend. After that Kansas race, I came in the garage and I said, you know, you guys need to challenge Michael to sort of step out of his comfort zone on a restart. Any moment in the rest of these playoffs, I want him to do something that's uncharacteristic of Michael Annett. And I think I saw that on the restart in Phoenix. He took the high side and worked his way into the top 5, and it was really fun to see him do that. And you could tell that he has a lot more confidence in himself and the car as well. And so he's looking forward to next year with Michael. I think they can make a lot more progression even to get even better. And so, you know, and I'm happy for him too, because he took a lot of heat for his performance over the last several years, and this year he was able to have some fun and go out there and enjoy himself.
Getting a lot of questions about your off-season plans. Anything big planned for this winter?
Just, you know, I'm going to spend some time with my family. We have, you know, we've been working a lot. This year felt like I worked more. We went to the Indy 500, Kentucky Derby, and a couple other things early in the year before we ever started broadcasting NASCAR. So I felt like I was gone a lot. But so I'm looking forward to December. We're going to go to the banquet in Nashville. Got to go to the banquet first time in Nashville. I was going to skip it, to be honest with you, but Amy said, no, I like to wear a dress. We're going. She doesn't get many opportunities to get dressed up and go do something fun, so we're going to Nashville for the banquet. Should be good. And, we'll visit her family in Texas for Christmas. We're going to host our family, Kelly, and our tight little family at my house this year for Christmas. That's the first. So I'm excited and nervous about that. It's going to be busy in our house that day. But then January is pretty wide open for now. We'll see if I can keep it that way.
All right, that is all the questions.
All right, guys. Everybody, I appreciate y'all tuning in. It's been an awesome year. We really appreciate it. We've had a lot of growth this year. We want to thank Nationwide for sponsoring the Ask Junior segment in the show all year. It's been a lot of fun bringing that to you guys. Okay, Mike, before we bring in our guests, let's talk about one of my passions, all right? My ancestry.
Yeah.
Now, it is so much more than being about where the Earnhardt family came from. It's about the future of the Earnhardt family and your family too.
That's right.
Introducing Ancestry Health from Ancestry. With Ancestry Health, you can discover how your DNA might influence certain health conditions and the steps you can take with a healthcare provider to chart a healthier path forward. Okay, it's a known fact that some health conditions can be influenced by genetics.
That's right.
Ancestry Health looks at a carefully selected set and gives you insight about how they could impact you and your family. Years ago, I probably wouldn't have cared much about this, but now as a dad, I'm interested. Ancestry Health gives you so much. They provide personalized health reports. These things are easy to understand. You get access to genetic counseling resources, and they even give you a family health history tool to track generations of health.
Hey, you know what else, Dale? You'll also receive Ancestry DNA ethnicity results that reveal your origins.
What do you guys think?
I love it.
I've been hearing about it all year, and guess what? I'm taking the journey. I just signed up.
There you go. He signed up. I was talking to some family. I visited family in Alabama this weekend, and I was telling them exactly about this.
Yeah.
Very cool.
You're so inspiring.
A lady gave me a big envelope about how our apparently some of her relatives are Earnhardts, and she wants me to read this information about how they connected. That happened this weekend.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
In Phoenix, huh?
Yeah.
those old Earnhardts out in Phoenix.
Phoenix Earnhardts.
The old Phoenix Earnhardts.
Learn from your genes and take action for your family. Go to Ancestry.com/Dale Jr. to learn more and get your Ancestry Health Kit today. That's Ancestry.com/Dale Jr. Ancestry Health includes laboratory tests developed and performed by an independent CLIA certified laboratory partner and with oversight from an independent clinician network of board-certified physicians for genetic counseling. Ancestry Health is not currently available in New York, New Jersey, or Rhode Island.
Ladies and gentlemen, our guest, Kenny Wallace.
Are we ready? Ready? Here we go. Okay, here we go. Here we go. Okay, ready? Okay, here we go. Kenny Wallace, Herman! Yep. I'm gonna tell you something. Kenny Wallace, Herman! Yes, what do you want? I'm gonna tell you something. Why? You run that old dirt course. Me poop me pants. I'm a diesel tanker driver. Yeah. I'm a diesel tanker driver now. Yeah. Gonna go drive my diesel tanker. Come on. I'm a lover. I mean no harm. I'm a lover. Happy joy. Daddy got a little coffee with hazelnut creamer. Come on. Come on. All right. Don't let your meat go. Come on, we kick it back. I gotta get him on the cushion. Elbows up. Come on, you run that door. You got me. Elbows up. Why do you run that over there? It's fun. I love it.
Hey, come on in here.
Uh-oh, look at him. Well, come sit down.
I bet you've already had like 5 cups of coffee. Okay. Third cup.
Stayed at Brittany's house last night.
Yeah.
With Dad, coffee for me, but I don't have any normal creamer, so it was, I don't know, some pumpkin spice. That's what the kids have nowadays.
Yeah, kids. You liked it, though, didn't you?
I did. Well, you know, years ago they started those NASCAR physicals, which made me pay attention to my health a little bit.
Yeah.
Well, I was using all that hazelnut creamer. Well, I read up on it. They say it's really bad for you. So I went to normal cream. So she knows that. She goes, Dad, I'm sorry. I got pumpkin spice. I said, it's all right. It was like ice cream.
How much coffee do you drink? You don't need coffee.
2012, I was trying to find ways to get rid of all the sugar. So I had to get off of Coke, Pepsi, sweet tea, and I was like this. And so I found coffee, and I just like it.
Yeah.
Do you drink all day or just in the morning?
No, just in the mornings.
Yeah.
Get up. My mother-in-law lives with us, so she's got the coffee maker made. I go in there, and about 2 cups.
Your mother-in-law lives with you?
Yes. You know,
Wow.
okay, now listen, it works.
Put that mic a little closer to you so we can make sure we're hearing everything.
Testing 1, 2, 3.
There you
got it.
Now, see, if I was in the race car, it'd be like this right here. Isn't that right?
As close as you can get it.
All my ADD's kicking in right now. Now I'm thinking about Rusty telling me when I first started racing, Herman, when you drive that race car now, you got to make sure you push that. You only want right here, 1 finger width. See how the way my brain works?
If your microphone wasn't, if you couldn't push your lips out and touch it,
Right.
something was wrong. You're
you-
freaking out. You're like,
Yeah.
you're
people
at your
do
hand
that.
up there.
Now I'm willing to embarrass myself. What Junior's telling you is you got to do like this.
No,
Yeah.
and
You
people
do that.
do that. I see crew chiefs will do that. They can't
do it.
talk to their driver without kissing the mic.
Well,
They're
if
kissing the mic.
if you do that, and you don't touch the microphone.
You're too far.
We gotta stop. We gotta get this right.
It
You know?
clearances it for you.
Yes.
So it's like this. You go.
Yep.
And then there it is.
Because you don't want it touching. That's annoying.
What was the question?
About your mother-in-law
D.
living with you.
So her husband died, and it was catastrophic. And it just seemed when we were leaving, you know, that it was catastrophic for me to leave here and move back to St. Louis, but I really wanted to. So when she's a good lady, first of all. So when we left here, I thought, you know what? I hear these things called suites in homes. So we have her door. She opens the door to her bedroom. She got everything in there, her bathroom and all that. And she's easy speaking, man. And she's good to me. And we got this little Post-it note on the coffee machine, and it just says coffee ready. And I get up sometimes too early, and I take it off, and I push the button, and there's my coffee.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Right
pretty
on.
awesome.
So you're a coffee drinker. You don't ever drink. You won't drink when you're driving to those millions of tracks that you drive every year.
So water is hard for me to drink, but I know I have to drink it. I had Jennifer Marshall. She's Priority Aviation. Jennifer is a very, her husband Richard are great people. If you look at my race card, it says Priority Aviation. She's into health. And she goes, Kenny Wallace, you need to drink more water. I'm like, why are you saying that? Am I shriveled up? You know, do I look like Richard Petty?
Yeah.
Oh my God. Well, he's the king, but you know,
Yeah.
he maybe needs to drink more water too. So I think water lubricates your skin, is what she was trying to tell me. So I try to drink water because I think it's good.
When did you drive your first race car?
1982.
First race car?
No,
82?
No, thanks. See, I knew this would be therapy, and I appreciate it. I do, because you're making me think now. Drove my very first race car probably when I was, and there's pictures out there. It was my brother Mike's car at Lake Hill Speedway, Valley Park, Missouri. And I was scared to death. I thought, oh my gosh, this is way different than I
What kind
thought.
of car was it?
It was a,
Dirksen up next.
what was that thing?
Street stock?
No, it was actually a dirt car that Mike had there, and we ran it on asphalt. I don't know, Camaro, something like that.
Isn't that crazy back then in the late 70s? It's not as crazy, I guess, in the 60s and the 70s, early 70s. But then in the late 70s, guys would run dirt cars on asphalt,
Oh, yeah.
asphalt cars on dirt.
Yeah.
It really didn't matter. Like nowadays, you would never run a dirt car on asphalt, right?
Right.
Everything's specialized, and you bring up great memories. So, my dad Russ, was another, Dale Earnhardt or Ralph. Dad would race his dirt car everywhere, anytime. But my job was, when we were done racing the dirt track, I'd change the gears and I'd take the drum brakes off with a wire brush. And I'd wire brush the brakes and then blow them all out. And then we'd run the asphalt.
Yes.
But you always had a windshield. See? I can't imagine those guys running with windshields, but they did. Dad ran a windshield on dirt. Gosh, up into the
Man,
mid-70s.
how do they see?
One night he didn't. Dad come off and turned for it. Tri-City Speedway, Granite City, Illinois. Stuck the telephone poles not far in the ground, and they had mounds of dirt around them. And Dad would always be low. Now I realize why he was so low, because he was trying to get those left sides in some good dirt, some stickum. And his left front popped that thing, and it come way up, about flip over, and the crowd would go, ah. Anyway, early in the night, I'll never forget Dad flipped, because he did that. And Rusty and Mike got the car ready to go for the A main, but couldn't put the hood on. Had to take the hood off. Started overheating. Couldn't see. And I remember watching as a little kid. Dad's driving with his head out the window. Climbs the wall, takes the whole fence down. And later they have to cancel the event. Dad's okay. Okay, Dad's the one that wrecked real bad, tore the fence down. Dad's okay. My mom, Judy, she'll be here in a little bit. She comes flying out of the grandstands. Now remember, in the 70s we fought because Dad would win too much, so they hated us. My mom comes flying out of the grandstands, climbs. Okay, now the fence is down. She's climbing over the fence. The electric lines are on the fence. She electrocutes herself.
Oh my God.
My mom is the one that ends up going to the hospital. Dad's fine.
Whoa.
Because of the windshield.
Yeah.
Because he's looking out, because the hood was off. The water's all over the windshield.
Wow. And your mom's coming here, by the way? Did you just say that?
Yeah, because I'm a vagabond. I left Phoenix, Yuma. So if you get in the car and drive past the racetrack, it's 3 hours. Agriculture, capital of the United States. Yuma, all the lettuce. I was racing out here Friday and Saturday night.
Wow.
And so I landed here. So excited to be here today. And my CPA account, he celebrated 30 years in business yesterday. So Brittany, my daughter, drops me off, and you got like 500 fans out there. And I'm embarrassed a little bit ago. I got all my luggage. And I'm like, hi. So then my mom's going to come in a little bit, and when we're done here, take me to the airport.
Okay.
Where are you going now?
Crazy.
No, where you
crazy.
You getting on it? You getting in there? You going home?
So I'm going to go home tonight. Everything's done at the shop. I'm thinking about right now what I got to do. We're going on a cruise Thursday. I'm about a 5-day cruiser, but my wife goes, no, you're 10. I'm like, Mommy, please help me.
I may have this wrong.
You're going on a 10-day cruise.
7, but she's taking me to Miami 2 days early.
Oh.
Didn't you guys have a crazy cruise experience? It was like, didn't y'all get screwed somehow by airlines recently? So is this like a makeup cruise? Or you never ended up going on a cruise, did you?
Your sister Kelly made me so happy. She roughed up an airlines on Twitter the other day.
Is that right?
And it was the same airlines. So here's what
Leah's shaking her head. Yes, she roughed her up.
She did a good job. I love your sister, and I love you too. So what happens is my brother Rusty, his daughter Katie is getting married in Cabo San Lucas, Mexico.
Yep.
My wife, I love my wife to death, and I'm watching her from a distance over like a 5-day period. She starts packing 5 days early. Right? She gets her nails done, gets all her hot clothes ready, for like Cabo, and they get all ready, and they're going to the wedding because Rusty's daughter's getting married in Cabo. They get to the airport, and they can't just cancel the flight. Say it's going to leave tomorrow. They get there the next day. They canceled it again.
Okay, yeah.
By the time the plane took off, 3 days later, I said, what kind of airlines can do that? So, yeah.
That's what it was. It wasn't a cruise. It was they were going to the wedding. Yeah.
So I think Mikey Waltrip blocked me because Mikey comes in behind me and goes, the name of the airlines. Oh, it's a great airlines. I said, until they, I guess I pissed Mikey off, so he blocked me.
Blocked you on Twitter?
Yeah.
Michael?
Yeah, but that's okay.
Why does Michael have such an affinity for airlines?
Well, because Mikey's more messed up than me, and he me, I got thick skin, so every once in a while I'll argue with people on Twitter.
We're missing something.
Mikey's looking for positive mental attitude all the time. So, but yeah, the airlines pissed me
Who's
off.
more positive than you?
I think the bigger point here is that Michael Watson blocked you on Twitter. I can't believe you two guys should get along great.
And it's weird, too, because last time I seen him, we hugged each other. It was like 3 days ago at Toyota Get Together. I think the reason he blocked me was because he's looking for PMA, positive mental attitude. And that day, I didn't have 1 ounce of positive mental attitude.
That's what you promote.
Well, maybe he just blocked you for a day. He doesn't still have you blocked, has he? There's no way.
Michael, you got to unblock Kenny.
For God's sake.
Watch him go. Hell, now I know why you weren't showing up on there.
He thought you left Twitter.
You know what's funny about promoting positive mental attitude? I remember you growing up. We raced slot cars together. And so I know you before you were Dale Jr. My whole life, people would look at me and go, man, you're crazy, Wallace. I'm like, I am? It took me forever to figure out that I was different. I thought happy was real. Like, hey, hey, let's go party, woo. And, race is over, let's drink some beer. And at 56 years old, I've learned that happy is not normal. And that's sad.
That is sad.
Everybody told me I'm messed up. I was my whole life. But I'm not. But people told me that. So I promote PMA Junior because everybody should work hard to be happy.
Yeah.
Well, that's what makes this Michael Watson thing so ironic. The one that promotes PMA got his ass blocked.
Watch me get on my phone right now and he unblocked me.
Well, he better. We're going to put out a social media campaign for this.
One of the things that I wanted to ask you about is you just told me you started driving in 82 or sometime around 1982, right?
Drove a car in 82.
Right. Well, how did you become a crew member in the Cup Series?
I'm glad you're asking me all this.
I want you to tell me. I want to know how you went from wherever you were to crew member on the '98 Levi Garrett car. I'm assuming that was the first Cup car you worked on, and then to crew chief. Why that happened? How long were you in charge of that role? And then where you went from? Because I see pictures of you. You talk about it on social media and Twitter. Crew chief in the '98 Levi Garrett, Joe Ruttman driven car at Daytona and so forth. And I'm like, well, wait.
That's awesome.
What's the story that got you there?
Yeah, thanks. And the reason, I put stuff like that out there is I want people to know there's more to me. So I do it on purpose.
For sure.
It's not that I'm seeking attention, but
No,
I
it's
do
great.
seek attention.
No.
But, look, hey, there's more to me than just, TV guy.
Yeah.
So in 1982, my brother Mike felt bad for me that I had not been a race car driver yet. The first thing that needs to be said about my career is I got caught early in my career being a mechanic and fabricator. Rusty and Mike, and it kind of suppressed me. Get your ass to work on that race car, So Rusty and Mike liked it that I could work on the race car, So Mike in '82 got me a street stock ride at the Springfield, Illinois Fairgrounds.
Yep.
I won the damn race.
Oh, wow.
82.
Yeah.
84, Joe Ruttman calls me up because Joe Ruttman remembered me changing tires on Rusty's USAC car. We'd race up in Milwaukee, all the USAC stock car races.
Joe racing.
Joe Ruttman, right. So Joe Ruttman at the time's driving the Levi Garrett car in Cup. And lo and behold, I remember the moment. I'm in Jefferson, Georgia, and me and Rusty, we're going into a McDonald's, and it was at that moment. Joe Ruttman just flat asked me, hey, would you come work on this Cup car? I'm like, oh my God, my heart's pounding. I said, hold on. I go back to St. Louis, and I'm literally repairing vacuum cleaners at my uncle's store. And the whole time I'm working on those vacuum cleaners, I'm like, oh my God, I can't. I literally snuck away from the bench, went to one of those portable offices, had the phone number, called him up, like hid in a corner and said, Joe, I'm going to do it. So here me and Kim, we're not even married. And at the same time, we drive down in Rusty's, coming down south to drive that Gatorade car. We came down together like the Clampets, man. You know what I mean? Here I am in my old 76 GMC pickup truck. That truck was so bad I'd pull in and I'd say, check the oil, because it was so bad. And I just ended up working down here. And then my dad called me up and said, hey, I want you to come back home. Man, there's a whole long story there. Moved back, 1986.
Wait.
Yeah.
You skipped over how you became crew chief. So you.
Oh, yeah.
So you got hired. Joe called you.
Yep.
Come work on this car. You go down there, and now you're working in the shop, right?
Yep.
Buddy Parrott was the crew chief?
Nope.
Who's the crew chief?
Suitcase Jake Elder.
Jake Elder was the crew chief.
Of course he was.
That's how
I
you became.
skipped that area. I skipped that on purpose. So I'll be the one that says Jake was a brilliant mind.
Really?
I know, buddy. Your dad could imitate him. So if you caught Suitcase Jake wrong at all, he'd grab you by the collar and say, boy, listen what I'm trying to tell you in that southern accent. And buddy, you'd listen. You're like that. So the reason he was called Suitcase Jake is because he had just always had enough. Just always had a little bit, just something a little bit. But man, he was a brilliant mind. I mean, he literally could take, and this is true, this is no exaggeration, he could take and sit his ass on a spring and go up and down and go, put this one in.
What?
Oh, he would. I'm telling you. Anybody that in that era
This has the perfect rebound.
they know. Oh, well, back then you'd get a big spring, right? Called be a BP 900, BP 1200, and you'd take a torch and you'd cut it every inch, and then you'd rate it to get it to where he wanted it. Okay, so he left, or they fired him. I don't remember. They looked at me and said, "Hey, you're going to be the crew chief." I went, "Me? Oh my!" So here I am.
How old were you?
17, 18 years old.
Oh my God!
Here I am on the pit box in NASCAR.
Right.
You hadn't been working for Ruttman a year, right? I mean, it was just the
Months.
same, just months.
Months.
And now you're.
And he leaves. Suitcase Jake leaves. Hey, I'm going to tell you what, Dale Inman, to tell you the truth. Because, I only went 1 through 12. I mean, to this day, I'm like 6, 7, 8, 9, 9. I'm not, I'm an overachiever. I'm not real smart. I'm street smart.
Yeah.
You know the way I knew how to call pit stops in '84? I'd go to Dale Inman before the race or any great crew chief, and I would say, hey, when y'all going to pit? Swear to God. Before, I didn't regret because I'm brand new in NASCAR.
Oh my God! You're brand new at everything.
We're going to Pocono, man.
Hold on, you're going to pit on what?
I swear to God, that's what I do. I'd literally overachiever, man. Pocono. I'm thinking to myself, and when I said man, I think, oh my God, Rusty does that. Anytime I act like Rusty, make sure you tell me.
Okay.
It's fine, but I just want to know. So I go to Pocono, and boy, we're running good, and I could always set a chassis up pretty good. Rusty taught me. So there we are, and I go up to him and I said, Dave, he was always good to me. I said, when y'all going to pit? Lap 30 or something like that. I said, okay. Sure enough, lap 30, come down. Anyway, to this day, one situation that haunts me in my NASCAR crew chief career. We lead this whole damn race. 1984, so look it up. We're leading the whole race, and just a little bit of smoke the whole race. Just little. Now, we're not getting bike flags, so that tells you it's a whisper. Run the damn thing out of oil, leading the race. And I literally walked back. It's my fault. I should have just pitted him to put some oil in, but I wasn't thinking, hell, I'm running this thing out of oil. Dry some tanks in the back of the car back in those days. Or maybe we had enough.
No problem.
Could just stop, put some oil in. But that's the way
You would have lost the race. You didn't want to. You were leading.
Yeah, well,
You're too hard on yourself. This was a hard one.
How many races did you crew chief?
all of them. What? Till the very end.
Why did you stop?
I stopped because they fired Joe and put an LD Yacht.
LD Yacht.
What a name, right? Yeah. LD. He would never chop.
Why did they fire? Joe was so good. What was it about him that was didn't allow him to attain something very long term?
You are a brilliant mind because you ask really good questions, and the reason I'm saying this is because I agree with you. Joe would not just drive the race car. And if Joe's watching this, he knows that I care for him. Joe wouldn't just drive the race car. He wanted to run the damn team.
Right.
And when you try to run the damn teams, car owner to fire you.
Who was the owner?
Yeah.
Who's the owner?
Benfield, Dr. Benfield. But I forgot his first name.
Do you know?
And not Henry.
Henry Benfield.
Oh my God, what a man.
All right, so they put LD in the car, and
Put
you were
LD
like,
in there.
I'm gonna
Well,
do something else. LD
no,
was a pretty good little racer.
I think the year started. I can't exactly remember. I know my dad was calling me up.
What he wants you to do?
I think my dad missed me. I really do. He wanted me to come back to St. Louis and offered me something like $25,000 a year to come back.
Which was a lot of money.
Hey, it's like Schrader says, Herm, we do what we got to do. I mean, it's crazy because back then I didn't care about money. It's like, what do we need money for? I just did what the hell I wanted to do. When you love something enough and you're going and doing, money's like secondary.
But it's going to be hard for people listening to go, wait, you're in Cup. Now you're going back home. You move. Why are you moving back to St. Louis? You made it. You're in the Cup.
Yeah,
you're a crew chief.
It's the same reason I quit a lucrative TV job. Mm-hmm. It wasn't no fun anymore. So, you know what? Wow, this is good stuff. So Harry Hyde calls me up, and he's wanting me to come to work for him and be the crew chief the next year. But Rusty had wrecked Jeff Bodine at the Southern 500, and it flipped Bodine, flipped him over. So Jeff, see, Harry Hyde knew that I was a good crew chief, and he had that little guy there that helped put the cards together. My eyes are going around right now because I'm trying to I remember everything perfectly. So then Jeff Bodine puts a squash to that because him and Rusty hate each other. I have paid a bad price in NASCAR early because a lot of people didn't like Rusty. They didn't like Rusty, so I was his brother.
Oh yeah.
So that was it, and then. I didn't go to work there. My dad called me up, come back. But it was good timing, Junior, because when I went back, that's when I became a race car driver.
It all worked out.
It worked out.
Hey, but did that cause? I gotta ask. If Rusty was preventing you from going to work at Hendrick Motorsport, not preventing you. I'm sorry, I misspoke.
Yep.
If that was hindering you, the reputation that Rusty was developing as a racer was hindering did you develop any animosity, or was it ever any friction between you and Rusty?
Never. And that needs to be told. And a lot of people think it's corny because I tell somebody I love my mom, she's pretty tough. Quit saying you love people. I'm like, well,
no, you gotta love people.
But
love people.
I love Rusty, and I love Mike to death. They were good for me. They spoiled me ass right now. Rusty pissed me off a lot. Crushed me. I mean, Rusty would be so damn mean to me. But later on, I realized he meant good to me. I mean, if it weren't for Rusty, I would have never made it to NASCAR.
I agree with that.
Right. I was never mad at Rusty.
Yeah.
Because one thing I learned at an early life is that Rusty was so, great athletes are so damn laser focused. They see nothing around them except what they want to do. But I tell you, I realized that only about 5 years ago.
Oh.
It's not till I got in my 50s where I realized, hey, that's why he was a prick, because he knew, you know what I mean? So a lot of people don't like my brother, because he's very forthright. It took me to be 50-something years, because I watched his interview here. It's not that Rusty. Now, don't let me change it. It's not that Rusty didn't like Jeff Gordon. It's just that, Rusty's the man. Yeah. How dare you think you're gonna, be, I'm the man, not you.
I thought he was very honest about that.
Yeah. Yes.
Rusty admitted, he's like, look, it was ego. It was him and Earnhardt's time.
Yes.
He wanted to be Earnhardt, and this kid shows up and messes up what he had in mind.
You got it.
He admitted that, though. I thought it was pretty big.
And one thing I want to put in Rusty's mouth for him is that your dad, Dale Sr. was Rusty's guy. If there was a picture being taken, Rusty made sure he was by it. And there's an old saying, every man, your dad was a man. Everybody wanted to be Dale Sr. Well, so did Rusty. So, that's the only time I've ever seen my brother. I always say there's only a couple of people that Rusty listened to. Roger Penske, probably Patty first, his wife. Patty, Roger Penske, and Dale Sr.
Yeah.
But I never had any animosity towards Rusty. There's times I wanted to, he crushed me, hurt my feelings. I think the biggest thing that that hurt me was that great drivers, and I put this on Twitter and I said it to you, great drivers just don't understand why you're not great. You know, Rusty wanted me to be good so bad. And damn, I was trying. That's all I had, you know. I never had any animosity towards any of my brothers. Now, they pissed me off. I wanted to kill them. But later on, I got over it.
Yeah. You moved home, and when you moved back home to St. Louis after your little stint in Cup Series, you said you moved back and became a race car driver. And I've seen pictures of you driving Rusty's ASA car, the yellow and red 66. Is that the car you went home to drive?
No, and I can see how that's a little wrong. Never
Help
drove
me.
this. No, you're close. What I did is I stole Rusty's exact paint job and put 36 on it.
And put it on someone else's car.
Put it on my car.
You had your own car.
So I moved. One of the reasons I moved back to St. Louis is because a guy named John Childs. I literally called him up and said, John, I want to be a race car driver. Will you help me?
Childs on the side of the car.
Child's Tire. Child's Tire was a group of brothers that owned some tire stores. And that group, they helped Rusty. Rusty, I tell you right now, we would not be where we're at without John Child's Tire. So I'll never forget it. I go out to John's. I said, man, I need help, da-da-da. He says he's going to help me. I mean, I'm euphoric. I'm over the top. I'm going to be a race car driver. I leave and I stop at this Waffle House, and there's a payphone there. And I call Kim up at the time, and I said, Kim, I'll be a race car driver. Oh, my God, it was the most exciting thing in my life because I thought up until then, how do you become a race car driver? Well, I mean, how the hell am I going to pay $20,000 for a motor? I can't even fan these numbers at the time. I mean, I want to be a race car driver, and I have nothing. I'm living in an apartment. You know what I mean? So yeah, it was John Child's Tire. My dad put up a $10,000 CD that he saved up his whole life, put it up for collateral. I borrowed money to buy an old newspaper truck. And so I bought the newspaper truck, turned it into a hauler. My wife, Kim, bought my very first Dillon trailer. So borrowed money to buy the truck. Kim bought the trailer. She's working at a cafeteria. John Childs helps me with the car. And we're off and running.
What kind of car? Was it a used car?
A Dillon.
Brand new Dillon or
Brand
used
new
car?
Dillon car. Yeah. And that was where John came in, John Childs.
And so you got this car, and now you're going to go race. All right, what'd you run?
Ran 1986 ASA, American Speed Association. And ASA was the NASCAR.
That was legit.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, super legit. I mean, that's where you started, basically.
Yeah,
Deep water.
Yeah, I moved up. It's kind of funny because when I look back, I went, oh my gosh, I went big time right away.
You did.
And I think that, Rusty gave me some shortcuts there, gave me some great setups. I'd wait. I mean, stop and think about it. I don't start racing until I got in my first real race car. Now, in 82, I ran that old hobby car.
Right.
82. I don't start racing until I'm 22 years old. My very first time in a race car. So, and I went right to ASA. Won Rookie of the Year against Gary St. Amant. Wasn't good. I always say there's a difference between being good and great. You're a great talent. I don't have the talent you have. You got great talent. I could tell that right away. I followed you at a practice session at Gateway. And you come off the corner feeding it out to the wall loose. And you probably didn't know you were loose. But I had to learn that. Yeah. I asked my brother Rusty one time, I said, how do you drive the car loose? He says, well, he said, you feed it out to the wall, because it starts coming right. And you did that off of turn 4. You don't even remember. But you're a good talent.
Thank you.
You're a good race car driver.
Thank you. So you run in the ASA Series, win Rookie of the Year.
Yeah.
All right, how long did you run in the ASA Series?
86,
86, 87?
87, and 88.
And so what were those other 2 years like for you?
Good, learning how to drive a race car. I mean, I'm not defending myself. You guys said it. Stop and think about it. I don't drive anything. I don't drive a hobby car, nothing. I get into the highest form of racing, ASA. I mean, we're talking Mark Martin, Dick Trickle, Bob Seneca, Mike Eddy. These are the greatest drivers of all time. And I go in and now I'm competitive because I knew the setups. Because I'm with Rusty helping him. So I could build a good car, I knew all these little idiosyncrasies. One Rookie of the Year, I remember Howie Leto telling me that 87 was my best year. We lost Howie. But 87, 88, just learn to be a race car.
What were you doing during the week? Still working on vacuums at all?
Still working on vacuum cleaners. Dad,
That was the family business.
Uncle Gary.
Uncle Gary.
Let it be known, wherever the damn cameras is, cameras. There's plural. We had no money. Doesn't it piss you off when people think you're shot in the ass with diamonds growing up as a kid? I mean, it's like if you only damn knew.
Right.
You know, like Kelly posting that damn picture, that single wide mobile home. I'm like, you don't get it. People, Rusty says something perfect. You like that, don't you? Because they think since you're Dale Senior's boy that you just got all this money in the world. You got to remind them how broke ass you are. People need to have knowledge. Rusty told me one day, he says, Herm, it's sad to say you got to remind people because they remember what they want to. So mind you, I mean, we're broke ass growing up, as kids. And hell, I remember I had an Amoco credit card, and they took it from me because Amoco gas card.
Amoco gas card.
Yeah. So they took it from me because I couldn't pay it. I never do business with them again. They should have known I didn't have any money.
What's their problem? Did you win in
That
ASA?
Amoco white 93 was some good stuff.
Amoco, Dave Blaney, yes.
That freaking fuel was amazing.
Pure,
So that
pretty car.
you hit a nerve just now.
I asked you if you had won in ASA, and you said no.
Oh, two things I'll go to my grave with. Got close. Never won in ASA and never won in the Cup Series. Just devastate me to this
Really?
day. Oh gosh, run second 3 times in Cup. And all 3 of those a hell of a story.
Yeah.
Well, I don't even remember the damn question you asked.
Well, we were just talking.
We're talking about ASA. I mean, because this is fascinating how you
broke.
But your climb through the ranks was rapid.
You get an opportunity to run in your first Xfinity or Busch National race. For the purists, they like to be called Busch. They don't want you to call Xfinity racing Xfinity when it's not Xfinity back.
What is the deal? Can we talk about this for a moment?
People are very particular.
What is? I'm going to ask you because you know history better than anyone.
Yeah.
What is the difference between Busch, Nationwide, and Xfinity?
Well, there's some differences, but Xfinity. I say Xfinity when I'm talking about 1989 for the new people.
I do the same thing.
Yeah.
To me, there's no difference.
No. So that the new people know that this was Xfinity back then, right? What you know is Xfinity today.
Thank you.
This was the Xfinity. Because if I say to a new fan that's only been watching sport for a couple years, if I go, man, back in the Sportsman series, they're like,
what is that?
Well, is that good, bad? What is it? Sportsman, what is that? Street stock? They don't know. So,
Yes.
yeah.
That's a fair point.
So
too.
I
That's
always say
understandable, yeah.
I'm the same as you, Junior.
Yeah.
I say when I was in the Xfinity series, and they're like, you was in the Busch series. I'm like,
I know.
it's the same thing.
Yeah, they get it. They get frustrated.
Yeah.
So how did you get this opportunity to drive Dad's car at Martinsville? You're racing ASA. You're living up in St. Louis.
Yeah.
Obviously, Rusty's racing in Cup. Dad and Rusty are becoming friends.
Right.
But how does Dad know you? Did Rusty go, hey, check out my
man.
buddy?
Great story. So Rusty, deep down, really wants to help me.
Yeah, of course.
And now he's making a little bit of money, right? I mean, remember, we come from St. Louis down south as the Clampetts. I mean, we're bringing our furniture and everything. Rusty starts making money, becomes really good friends with your dad. Your dad recognizes that Rusty's got talent. And my brother Rusty tells your dad, man, I wished I could help Herman. He's back there in St. Louis working on vacuum cleaners and running that ASA car. And so Rusty got hooked up with Cox Treated Lumber, okay? And, I mean, stop and think about it. This is where I owe my brother Rusty my life, really. Rusty and Patty think they have the brain that, hey, I'm going to call Herman up, and we're going to start an Xfinity team. Mm-hmm. I mean, stop and think about that. Going to build a building for me and everything. But at the time, NASCAR would not allow any driver to go to Daytona and just show up.
Right.
So I had never in my life